All right, man. We're live. I didn't even post this on my community post because I was watching that De Los Santos, Keyshawn Davis weigh-in, and I knew something was going to happen, especially from the energy that Keyshawn Davis had yesterday. And, you know, we're going to wait a little bit before we get into it. I'm going to play you some of that press conference stuff, but, you know, it kind of... And sorry for the quality, because when I'm live streaming, I don't have great bandwidth here at this location, so it is what it is. It's just a little blurry, but you know, bear with me. But yeah, so it was kind of crazy when I saw that, you know, Keyshawn Davis was acting kind of erratic. I mean, he always acts kind of erratic, right? And I'm like, it's a little more than usual. It's a little more than usual. And I should have known when he said, I'm not paying for no belt. I did a video. I don't know why YouTube kind of shadow bans me a little bit. But in any event, for some reason recently, just they've been shadow banning me. I don't know. My stuff doesn't get out as it used to. I think once they start paying you, they kind of like, you know, even if it's cents, like, hey, slow down. But yeah, so, you know, Keyshawn Davis was let's get into it, was over 5 pounds. 5 whole pounds. And, you know, it's unfair because he already was. And we're going to make a prediction here, by the way. And we're going to put some money up to, I'm gonna do it here live on the channel, on this video, but on the stream. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy because everybody knew, Bo Mac, everybody knew we ain't gonna make the weight. You have the height, you have, you know, the because he's huge, pause, compared to, like, if you see them stand next to each other, the height discrepancy is crazy. And I wasn't sure how that was gonna play out, but it made sense when he said, I'm not gonna pay for no extra, you know, extra belt. It's like, I'm not gonna pay for anything. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want to unify? You know, like, what is it about what you're saying that... Hold on one second. I'm getting a thing here. I'm getting some sort of warning here. And it says the comparison of the streams failed because one of the streams is in valid configuration. I don't know what we're saying right here, but I think we're good, so it is what it is. But let's get back to it. I'm still new to the streaming thing, and I'm still new, like, to this whole program. And OBS sometimes works and it doesn't, and like certain things are, like, you know, configured correctly and some aren't. I'm guessing it's just trying to warn me that something might not get done correctly if I you know, don't, you know, like, maybe like a backup or something, but either way, it's fine. But yeah, so it just made me think, like, why would you want to take this like advantage over De Los Santos, right? Like, Limos did it to you, and we were all on his side, like, all right, you know, Lemos, you know, is cheating. This by all accounts is cheating. I'm getting some text here. It's cheating. Let's call it what it is. Keyshawn Davis is cheating. Does he need to? I didn't think he needed to. The odds opened up at the beginning of the week at he was a minus 1,000 favorite, right? But as the week progressed, the odds started getting smaller. Some of them had him at like a minus 650, 660, depending on which site you were looking at. And De Los Santos was creeping. But now, if you look at the odds, it's almost back at 1,000. Because not only did they think that he was going to win before, but now with 5 pound advantage, he didn't have to sweat out those 5 pounds. He didn't try. He said he tried. That man ain't tried. Because if you would have tried, you would have not came under that bad. You just would not have. You would have not came over that bad. I mean, 5 pounds is like you never tried. 5 pounds, you were not trying. You knew you weren't gonna make the weight. It makes sense why you're saying you're not gonna pay for another belt. It makes sense why you're basically ducking Murataya, because you just don't want to make the weight. Hold on, I'm getting another text here. Let me just make sure I just get that out the way. Yeah. So you didn't want to make the weight. You didn't want the fight. You didn't want. You just knew you weren't gonna do it. So that whole thing about, I don't want to pay the sanction fees, or I don't want to do the IBF weight thing at 135. You knew going into this fight you were gonna lose your title at the scales, and it just blows my mind. Like, and then it was crazy because the Top Rank announcers, they were acting like if nothing happened, right? He came in, it was like 139. Well, Keyshawn does have some advantages with the height, and I'm like, we're not gonna touch base on the weight. Like, he was just over 5 pounds, 4 to 5 pounds, and we're not gonna talk about it. We're just gonna pretend like we didn't see what we just saw. Like, they acted like only the one report at the end was like, yeah, hey, you were over. Like, you gonna try to lose this weight? What's the deal? Like, nah, I ain't gonna try. But let's go and take a look at it real quick, right? So let's just look at it right quick. Because damn it, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let me just make sure that I can interact with this real quick. So let's take a quick look.
Lightweight world champion. This is the business.
This was official. The DraftKings now that 1 inch, like 5'9", bro. When they stand next to each other, I don't know if he was standing on a soapbox. I don't know what was going on, but he looked crazy taller than De Los Santos. This whole 1 inch thing and the same reach, like, you were like, oh, they evenly match. It don't look like that when they're standing next to each other. That 1 inch, it's like that. That didn't look like that. I don't know, but so listen to the announcers real quick.
Keyshawn Davis, the champion, coming in at 13-0 with 9 knockouts, going against the veteran Edwin De Los Santos, 16-2 with 14.
She said veteran. First, there was only one. He's younger, De Los Santos. Also, they're just giving you the stats of how many fights he got. The man just lost his title on the scales, more than likely, and you giving me the stats of his record, whether he's undefeated, whether he has wins and losses. That's not what the champion just lost his title on the scales, and only De Los Santos can win the championship. Step out of champion. By all accounts, if Keyshawn wins, this is going to be a vacant title.
14 KOs. The biggest difference here is really just the age gap. They're very similar reach, 70 inches, only an inch.
She said the age gap. It's 1 year, and that goes to Keyshawn Davis. He's the older guy. That's not even an advantage. They both have the same reach.
Difference in their height and a year difference in their age.
They trying to hide this so much, or they don't know what to do. They were like, do we mention this? That's why I forgot what podcast I saw it on, but Bill Lampley was asked, hey man, like, a lot of these guys, they're not being honest with like what they're seeing in the ring, what they're seeing in the they're almost to the point where they cater into the product instead of giving you the right play-by-play, and it's true, and you see it here. They're trying to cater to the product instead of giving you an analysis of what's going on. The champion just lost his title on the scales. He just won his belt. He just won his title. He didn't even get to defend it. That's crazy, right? So think about that. He just won this title. He doesn't get to defend it. He didn't care to make the weight. he was saying that he didn't want to pay for championship belts to defend them. So that should have been a clue last night that this man was not going to try, to at all make this weight. And that's crazy because if you got De Los Santos trying and then you come overweight and you knew you were, it's not like it's a half a pound or a pound and you're like, damn. Because we were crucifying, I think, Ryan for like, what was it, 3.5, 3? This man just said, man, I ain't even going to try that. Like, I ain't more motivation because it just got better now. But I don't know how much more motivation you actually going to have. You gotta. The only thing De Los Santos has is that he has crack in his fists. He can crack, and if he can catch Keyshawn, then it's gonna be a thing. And I think that was strategic. I think it was like, bro, De Los Santos he can crack. I need an advantage, and you can't convince me otherwise. Now you can't say it's because you couldn't make the weight, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, because you cheated. You cheated. So at this point, it's like, oh, you're doing it to get an advantage over. Like, because this man is not Limos. He can crack. And while he was chasing Shakur, and that's not your style because you can't run, you're going to need a lot of more energy and weight to stand in the pocket and be slick in the pocket. And if you get caught, you're going to have more rehydration going on. So your punch absorbency is better than it would have been at 135, right? So he's a 147 fighter.
More motivation now. It got a lot better now.
Let's just fast forward to Keyshawn. But it don't look like the angle. Look.
This is called.
Bro, if he's looking up at Keyshawn, that's not a 1-inch difference. That I don't know what that is. That ain't a 1-inch difference. And what I'm saying is now, that's about a 3.5-inch difference, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's Keyshawn being underreported or De Los Santos being overreported in height. But the point is, look at that. Look at the height difference there. That height difference is crazy. Now he's 5 pounds heavier at the weigh-in. That means that whatever he rehydrates to, more than likely is going to be 5 pounds bigger than he would normally have been. That's a cheater. That's a cheater. Just, and we're going to call it a spade, just like when Mayweather came in heavy. He cheated. Just like when Garcia came in heavy. He cheated. Lemos came in heavy. He cheated. Keyshawn Davis came in heavy. He's cheating. There's going to be an asterisk if he wins. He got, all right, man, I don't know. Now let's fast forward real quick to... This is an interesting little back and forth with this reporter right quick. Let me just get this right.
You on the line? Christine, Keyshawn, go to Christine.
I'm right here, Keith.
Right here, face down.
I was feeling it last time I was fighting Baranchik.
Here's the thing. Not for nothing. If I was De Los Santos, and I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one providing for his family. But if I had the means, I'd just be like, nah, we ain't fighting. Fight's off. We gotta renegotiate. If I'm stepping in that ring, I need more money. No? Okay, cool. I'm walking away. I would have walked away. Keyshawn don't get paid. Keyshawn don't get paid. That's what I would have done. Keyshawn ain't getting paid. Not off my back. Not off my back. Straight up. Not off my back. If I had to go in there and fight Keyshawn with a weight disadvantage while he gets no penalty, only penalty he gets is that he loses his title on the scale. Nah. If I could afford it, being De Los Santos, I would absolutely say, nah, you're gonna lose this on the I'm going home. I'm going home. And there's a clause in there in those contracts usually that if the other guy misses weight, some of the purse, I'm sure, still goes to De Los Santos because he made the contracted weight. The penalty will go on to Keyshawn. I would ask for a penalty that comes to me monetarily if I'm going to continue with the fight. If not, I'm going home. I'll miss. Call the backup. Who's sitting at home? Call the backup. You call somebody, but I ain't fighting Keyshawn. You know, that's what I would have done. Because if you reward Keyshawn, then at the end of the day, like, how does that help you? How does that help you? So I would have just said, nah, man, I'm going home, dog.
I mean, I was 4 pounds over. Bro was like 7 pounds over. That's like damn near 10. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't reach the next weight class.
They're going to expect a knockout, a brutal knockout. That's what they're going to expect. Is she crazy? Like, listen, I'm not sure how good De Los Santos' chin is. Right? I'm not sure, to be quite honest. But it's going to get tested. And the funny thing is, if you look at, like, it made sense why he was egging on Mason. Why he was saying the things he was saying about not paying for titles. Like, it makes sense now. Like, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, we making sense now. Like, it makes sense. And it sucks. It sucks that as fans, we don't get an even fight. It's already messed up because they weighed in at 1 o'clock. And by the time 11 o'clock come around the next day, man, they don't become like welterweights, bro. Like, it's already not really, you know, a 135 fight.
All right, so some decisions maybe still to make between the two camps, what they're going to do to get the fight to still go on. Will he have to pay a penalty, etc.?
Yeah.
Still some negotiations to take
Pay
place.
me.
Keep it on Top Rank social channels for all the latest. Of course, tomorrow night there's still an standing card, 9 total bouts. The undercard gets started at 5:15.
The standout. Abdullah Mason's going to be the standout there. That's what I'm tuning in to really see. Because it's no longer a fight that I really wanted to see. It's not a fight that I didn't sign up to see a guy come in and cheat, right? We've been talking about cheaters and runners as of late in boxing. And for me to support Keyshawn Davis, like cheer him on as defending the championship that he earned. He did earn it. Against a guy now who has had a rough comeback because he fought one of the worst fights against Shakur, so he had to get rid of that stigma. And now this is what happens to him at his next crack at a title. That's what you do to him. Because Shakur knew he had to not engage with De Los Santos. But again, based on what happened May 2nd, Keyshawn Davis knew he couldn't do that Shakur. He couldn't do a Haney. So what are you gonna do? I gotta get an advantage. I gotta not make 135. I gotta be closer to 140. And it makes sense because he just said he kind of incriminated himself when he said what did he say? He said, "Oh, I didn't go into the next weight class. I stood within the weight class." Nah, you're not in the weight class. You're not in the weight class. Once you go above 135, you're in the next weight class. It's the 140. You can win a 140 title from 136 and up. You can't. So you are in the next weight class. It's wild. What's up, Bake? Yeah, he got to pay. I would still take the fight if I'm De Los Santos. I want Abdullah though. He stole the show the last time. Yo, Abdullah is crazy. Abdullah, you know what I got Abdullah Mason, bro? Like, he got knocked down a couple times against the guy with the worst haircut on the planet. And I always said, when I was younger, back in my teenage years in the 90s, right, when me watching boxing, early 90s, mid 90s, 2000s, I always said I like when young fighters take some scrapes along the way, especially ones that show a lot of promise. Because Abdullah now being down, being hurt, but making it back up and stopping the same guy who was hurting him through sheer like determination and skill and IQ. There's nothing now really that it can happen to him going forward except a loss, right? Like, even if he had a loss, you know, like Teofimo, perfect example. He knows what it's like to not only get beat down, but he took a loss. He took a loss. And taking that loss, it's going to be hard. Like, you can't do to Tio too much more than he hasn't already seen. He knows how to win. He's been at the biggest stage. He beat Loma. Or he beat a better Loma, right? So, same thing with Mason. He early on, he faced some adversity. For you to do something different to Abdullah, you're going to have to do something really different. It just, you could tell his immaturity, though, at the press conference where he didn't know how to approach that kind of energy that Keyshawn was giving him, that frenetic energy. He didn't know how to deal with that. He didn't know how to deal with that. He was like caught out like a little kid, like, oh, shit. Like, this guy's talking crazy. I don't know what to do. Can somebody help me out? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But it was crazy because if you remember, Keyshawn Davis was in the same predicament. I forgot who he was, who it was that was talking crazy to him. But he was saying, Keyshawn was telling the champ, oh, you coming at me like this, but I'm not ready for you. Like, you know, but you should come at me, you know, when I get enough fights under my building experience. But now he gonna do that to Abdullah, right? I don't know. There's something weird about Keyshawn Davis, bro. I don't know. I can't call it yet. Let me see. Yeah, that was a learning experience. That was good. Hurry up and get out of the way. Hey, yeah. The one thing I always said about Trinidad, Felix Trinidad, right? In the 90s, I was like, man, I wish he would have took a L real early in his career. Because once he got beat by Hopkins, he didn't know what to do. Because he was already like late 20s, 30s. And he, like, you could tell, like, that deflated him and it took everything away from him. He's already a millionaire. Multi times over, right? So now you lost. What? Some fighters are like, damn, like, I got my ass beat. How do I come back from that? I already got millions in the bank. How do I come back from that? You get that shit early. You get it early and you're like, oh, I need to get back. I need to get back up there. Same thing with Tio. Again, I don't really like giving him too much shine, but Tio, once he got that loss out the way early, you can see that he still wants that when he's in the ring. He still wants that shine. He just got a terrible PR team. But Tio still wants that shine. I think if you get that loss late, very few fighters can come back from a loss late in their career. This is why, you know, if you want to then shift over to, like, you know, Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, 38 damn years old, damn near. Once he loses to Canelo, because I believe he will, it's a loss forever. Like, he's not getting back from that. That's will be the only guy to ever beat him, because he's not gonna make it back from that. You know, it's too late in the career to readjust mentally to something like that. You know, it's hard to readjust your whole psyche. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you got here. Bake said that come with experience too. Abdullah have experience on the mic as he gets old. Still a kid, 1921. He been naturally about 25. He gonna have belts and experience. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't there. He was just like, yeah, what? Like, how you, oh wow, that's energy I never expect. Like, and being that close, right? Because usually, like, you have the guy at the podium and you way over there and he's way over there, and then they're talking crazy. But Keyshawn was literally right next to him. 25 years old, talking to a 19-year-old kid. Like, yo, what? Like, what's up? Putting pressure on him. Like, now don't look over there. That's what. So, like, like growing up in the prizes, remember, like, when the OGs would put pressure on young dudes, they'll tell him, like he'll look over to his boy. Like, when you getting put pressure on, you look over to your boy real quick, and they be like, nah, don't look at him. Nah, don't look over there. Like, look over here. I'm talking to you. Like, don't look over there. I'm talking to you. And you're like, oh shit. Like, yo, what you keep looking at your man for? Like, I'm talking to you. Like, why you looking over there for? What's up? And you're like, oh shit. Like, you know, when you're a young kid and a grown ass man talk to you like that, like, only certain kids have that. They have that thing from little that, nah, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. But for the most part, young kids, you know, act like that. So when I saw Abdullah go through that, I was like, okay, but it's a learning experience though. So I like Abdullah. I really do. I think that he could be the future. I think aside, Keyshawn could still be that guy. but I think Abdullah has that it factor. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna take him to the next level. I think he's gonna be must-watch TV if he just stays on point, stays disciplined, keeps that IQ, going like he usually does. I think he'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I think Abdullah will be all right, man. Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, I lost the feed right quick. Fun fact, I don't have a webcam. I have a DSLR. And for them not to pay like import taxes on a webcam, because it's more money if the DSLR has webcam, they disable they put a timer, a limiter of 30 minutes on Canon DSLRs. So every 30 minutes is why I rarely go live, because if I go above 30, then they go ahead and hit me with I got to get up and and reset it. And YouTube ain't paying me ish right now, so I can't afford to buy like a decent enough webcam that I could stream without interruptions. Hopefully, at some point, if I keep getting support, I'll get there, and I can buy something, and I can fix up this garage. Cause one, it is hot as hell in this garage. I got a fan going, and it's hot as hell, but I got ideas, but I'm not going to spend money from my pocket like that to get this going. Hopefully YouTube will pay for itself for all the upgrades. But anyway, let's see where it goes. I don't know. But yeah, back to this. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, he was looking for help. Only certain kids got that beast mode in them that young. Nah, you good. Yeah, I mean, I'm like right now, like I'm learning how to mess with this, right? Like for instance, the computer I got right now is a desktop, right? Check this out. Those like those Dell computers that you see in offices? Fun fact and secret, them things are crazy powerful. You could build a gaming laptop or desktop out of them. So what I did was I got one, and I upgraded the internals on the cheap to make it this, right? This mic I found. This is a Temu special. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I say that to say that, YouTube gotta pay for all of this. Like right now, financially things ain't so hot, so we gotta slow down. But yeah, hopefully soon I can start, upgrading this and maybe get a split system for AC in here, because Florida's hot as hell, bro. It ain't New York. It is humid. This garage is hot, and god damn it. But for real, guys, on a serious tip. So let's go right quick. To FanDuel and see what the odds are. Let's real quick look what the odds are, and so check it out. Okay, so here it is. So now if nobody saw my video on how to learn how to bet, because I don't know how to bet. I never learned what the over and under, all that shit. I never learned that. There's certain things I would bet on, and for me in the hood it was easy. Like I got $20. but I don't know what that was called. Now I know that's the money line, right? But I would just bet whatever it was I'm betting on. It was just 20 here, 20 there to win, whatever. So I did a video that nobody looked at, nobody saw, about me going over with you guys what these terms mean. But anyway, what I found out was that this opened up at the beginning of the week. The odds, it was minus 1,000 for Keyshawn, and it was about here. It was about like minus 450 for De Los Santos, something like that, something crazy. I mean, plus 450. And what ended up happening was, as the week got closer to the weigh-in, it got as low as 650, minus 650, 660 for Keyshawn, and around here, plus 540 for De Los Santos. Didn't really change much. As you can see in the DraftKings weigh-in, it was about that 650 for negative, minus 650 for Keyshawn. It was still close. Now you see, after the weigh-in, here you go. It's almost damn near 1,000. They're like, not only did we think he was going to be a favorite in the beginning of the week, things got closer because De Los Santos is a good fighter. Now you see how things got closer. You see how things now we're getting closer. Then all of a sudden, now after the weigh-in, 5 pounds over, boom, right back to 1,000. Minus 950. So that tells you right there. Now I'm not even gonna go into the rest of it here, because what they got here, they got when would the fight end, round betting, method of victory. Let me see what they got here. Keyshawn, look, bro, look at this. Would you look at this? Would you look? Okay. Plus 7,000. Now, as the fights go on, they got him kind of losing some steam and then coming back. But look. That's crazy. Nobody wants those odds. But yeah. So, and let me see, method of victory. Let me see what they got here. So they got Keyshawn on points of decision minus, but they're saying by KO, look at that, plus right here. A draw pays crazy. So basically a decision. They thinking that De Los Santos, based on his probably like his punching power, based on his punching power, he's gonna be able to outlast Keyshawn. Is what it looks like, and not outlast him, but take him the distance. I still think it goes the distance. I think De Los Santos is too good to get caught. What's worrying me is the height. But if Keyshawn comes down to his size, if he crouches too much, because the reach is the same, there's 70-inch reach for both of them, and the fact that De Los Santos is a southpaw, I think De Los Santos is going to have a lot of good moments still. I just think that in the long run of the fight, Keyshawn's going to take over because he's going to have he's going to be fresher because he didn't have to burn the extra 5 pounds. He's going to be heavier because he put on an extra 5 pounds. And he can't crack some. So at that point, but De Los Santos can crack a lot. So if Keyshawn gets too cocky, pause, and is thinking too much Teofimo, not enough De Los Santos, I think he could get hit. And I think something could happen. Because it's boxing. Anything can happen when you get a puncher in there that's talented. And De Los Santos is talented. Is he world class? I don't know yet. Definitely not elite yet. I don't know if he's going to be elite. We know Keyshawn is world class. Is he elite? We still trying to find out if De Los Santos is world class before elite, right? So, but all the numbers are telling me on the records of winners and losses and by how they won that De Los Santos has a chance of a puncher. So this is where we're at FanDuel, man. Like, it's crazy. So let me see now where we're gonna go. So I'm gonna place a bet. So like I said, I don't know too much about betting yet like that, and also I'm not financially in a situation right now where I can even bet. Like my family come first. But I found a website that does paper betting. So we're gonna go there. Right here. And we're going to interact with this one right here. So we're going to go to paper bet. Now, what I like about this is... Oh, it logged me out. Hold on now. Let me log in. Oh, Lord Jesus. You know what? I can't... Did it save? You know what? Hold on. Let me... Hold on. Oh, I guess it took too long and it timed me out. So we're going to have to go back to paper bet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-add it to the stream as me being logged in. That way we can see it, because I want to kind of do it live so everybody can see, and it's a way of me just tracking like my my predictions and all that other stuff. So we're gonna go here. I'm logging in on the other side. Alright, so we're gonna go here and we're gonna copy this. Alright guys, hold on with me 1 second. Hold on, we're gonna get there. And then I'm gonna hide this, and I'm gonna add another browser. Hold on, guys. So we're gonna go to paper Paper bet. And now, no, that's not what I want. See, I'm trying to tell you, I'm new at this. I'm new, and I don't know too much of what I'm doing yet. But hold on, we're gonna get there. Because OBS, I was using OBS before, and I was getting good at it, and then I got another program, and then that program is great, but for some reason I can't get it to work properly yet. I gotta learn how to do that. Hold on, I'm having a little trouble getting. Okay, here we go. And then we're gonna get this down here, and then here. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. And then what I'm gonna do is, you're gonna see it pop up in a second. And for some reason, it still has me as not in. Great. I don't know. It's not working, guys. What I'll do is I'll put in a community post. I'll go ahead and put that in there. But if you want to do what I'm doing, it's just called paperbet.com. Paperbet.site. And you can just like do fantasy. You don't use real money. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys know about trading stocks and stuff. You can do paper trade. It's just showing this side of it. But anyway, but what I'm gonna do is I'm putting money on. I'm gonna take the risk, a small risk, small, on De Los Santos because he pays out the most. And I think he has punching power. I think that Keyshawn Davis might be a little bit distracted. And I think it could lead to a mistake that De Los Santos can capitalize on, and seeing that he got punching power and is a southpaw. And I think that he's overlooking, I think, De Los Santos a little bit too much, looking at Teofimo and that fight that I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. So, but anyway, guys, let me know in the comments once I'm done here with this live. If you guys want me to come back live again, I'll try to get this up. And if you want to know more about paper bets, I can also do that also. But yeah, let me know. And yeah, I got De Los Santos on a strength of just that he pays the most. He pays the most out of the wager. And like I said, I think Davis is a little distracted. I think I don't know. I just have a feeling. I'm more than likely wrong, but I'm gonna go because everything's kind of shifting towards De Los Santos' favor a little bit, and I hope he's smart enough that he gets his team up there, and his team tells him, "You need more money. We need better odds on our side. We want a fine." All of that stuff. Like, hit Keyshawn Davis. Make Keyshawn Davis say, "I don't want to fight. That's gonna happen." Because if he wants to get paid, he's gonna have to give up something. Like, he's gonna have to give up something. Like, you just can't go in there and just rape this guy. Pause. Out of all the advantages that he could have had. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. So I hope he really hits him where it hurts. But anyway, let me know in the comments down below after the stream. And I'm going to try to do this every Friday. It might change due to my work schedule at some point. After weigh-ins, bet the belt Fridays, to see who I pick and where we're going and analyze it a little bit. Especially after like weigh-ins and stuff, I'm gonna try to do that. More than likely, once the schedule changes with work, however that goes, it's probably gonna go on, later on instead of directly after. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get on a constant schedule, is what I'm saying, of live streaming. But anyway, all right, guys, see you later, and I'll see you in the next stream, man. Peace out.